This is the first launch of 2015. Well, it's a big one for Mercedes. This is their entry-level sedan. And we've seen the CLA in its AMG form, but this is the car that's going to compete with the likes of the Audi A3. Well, there's no two ways about it. It is one hot-looking car. But is there more substance to it, is what we're going to find out. We have seen the CLA in its AMG guise, so it's not entirely new. But even in its plain Jane avatar, this car is a stunner from any angle. Be it the swooping roofline that gives it the coupe-like look, the wedged-out character lines along the bonnet and the sides that give it a sporty air, the LED lights on the rear that just add a bit of flair, or the frameless doors. Or even the aggressive-looking alloys, the CLA just grabs your attention from every angle. It's drop-dead gorgeous and there's no two ways about that. Does this pizzazz continue on the inside? Interior layout, well, when you look at it, very similar to the A-Class, but there are a lot of things that actually lift it quite a few levels and make it a lot better. There's a nice metallic strip across the dashboard which has this ribbed look. The tablet now has much better resolution. It's also operated by an iDrive-like control. There are lots of differences here, and of course Mercedes' new mantra for 2015 is to give their cars feature-packed and well-equipped, and this one is too. The CLA gets goodies like a panoramic sunroof that automatically closes when it rains, onboard web browsing via a Bluetooth phone tether, a navigation system and a reverse camera, the full-blown Harman Kardon system, and that's just the half of it. There's a host of safety kit and convenience features too. Quality is as always top-notch, and the retro sporty style with the swooping lines of the dash, the turbine-like vents and smart dials is still pleasing to the eye. The CLA has a large boot, but that advantage is eroded by the space-saver spare tire that's strapped to the boot floor and eats up a lot of room. As far as performance goes, the CLA will come with two engine options for India. A 2-litre turbocharged petrol engine that makes 181 bhp and 30.5 kgm of torque, and a 2.1-litre turbo diesel that produces 134 bhp and 30.5 kgm of torque. It uses a 7-speed dual-clutch gearbox, but unlike the all-wheel drive CLA 45 AMG, this standard CLA-Class will be front-wheel driven only. We hopped into the scarlet red petrol version first. This doesn't quite deliver the punch like the Audi's 1.8-litre engine, but it has a nice healthy linear acceleration. It gets up to triple-digit speeds really quickly. You never feel short on power, and the gearbox works extremely well, swapping cogs really efficiently, smoothly and quickly. Overall, it's a responsive motor with the gearbox working well in tandem to make it feel quick. It's a broad power band which makes it really drivable in all kinds of conditions, be it cutting through traffic or cruising on a highway. The strong mid-range ensures that it serves up quick bursts of power when you need it for an overtake, and it makes driving effortless. It may not be thrilling performance, but it's strong and powerful enough. We also tested the diesel-powered CLA for a short stint to see how that motor felt. And whilst the petrol motor felt quite refined, the diesel was a little more vocal. It's a gruff engine and you can hear it in the cabin. It's only when you're really cruising at low RPMs that it quietens down. It's audible, but it's not really intrusive to the point that it's bothersome. However, what is frustrating is there are times when you feel like cracking a whip to spur this engine on. This diesel engine has quite a flat acceleration curve. It's not really an enthusiastic engine, so if you're not in a rush to do anything or get anywhere really quickly, you don't push it too hard, this engine does just fine. You can amble around or cruise comfortably out on a highway and it gets the job done. It's not an engine that likes to be pushed, and even putting it into sport mode has little effect. This is an engine that has to be worked a bit, and I had to make more use of the paddle shifts here to keep it in the power band for overtakes and even accelerating into traffic gaps. And whilst I was nipping and tucking into those traffic gaps, I realized how the steering felt. In urban conditions, when you need to park or U-turn, the steering does feel a little weighty. But not something that's really going to bother you too much. However, out on an open stretch of road, that weighty feel of the steering really inspires a good sense of security. It's not a sporty, sharp and precise steering, but it always lets you feel like you're in control. In fact, the faster you go, the more stable and planted the CLA feels. Straight line stability is its strength, and the CLA never gets unsettled. Now, if you're an absolute enthusiast when you drive this car, you might feel that front wheel drive nose heavy feeling. It doesn't quite dart into the corners, but for most people under normal driving conditions, this actually inspires quite a good level of confidence. Driven at a leisurely pace, the CLA feels composed and unruffled. Body control is good, and the 225/45 R17-inch tires offer up good levels of grip. But the experience behind the wheel points at the fact that the CLA is more of a luxury comfort car than a driver's delight. Now, the CLA is aimed at buyers that would be driving this car themselves, but in India, that's not really a matter because most of the luxury car buyers are often chauffeured around. So the back seat is where they are. However, one must remember that this is an entry-level sedan and built off the A-Class, so space is not really its strength. The integrated headrest does hamper visibility for the rear seat passenger, and I sort of have to lean out to look around. Space as expected is a bit tight. 3 abreast will definitely be cramped. And legroom, well, for someone like me, it's quite adequate enough, and with the seat back being scooped out, it opens up a little bit more for the legroom. However, that sexy looking design does compromise on practicality with the roofline being quite low. Especially taller passengers will find their head might touch the roof. Housed in those frameless doors, the windows are small too, so the back seat can make you feel a little hemmed in. On the upside, the seats themselves are comfortable, and so is the ride quality. There is an underlying firmness to the ride that you can still feel on rough sections of road like this. However, the India spec CLA has been worked on for ride quality, and you can see that now, and you can feel it actually. The ride is far more comfortable. There's a soft, supple edge that knocks off the sharpness of bumps and potholes and doesn't allow it to filter through that much. We had criticized the lack of compliance and the hard edge that hurt ride comfort on Merc's compact cars. But in the CLA, Mercedes have softened the suspension to give it a newfound suppleness. Deep potholes still come through, and the lack of wheel travel is evident with the short, sharp vertical movements you feel on uneven surfaces, but it's never to the point of feeling harsh. Well, Merc's affordable sedan. It's not really a spacious car, but it offers you a good level of luxury on the inside. The interiors are really nice, and Merc have packed it with a whole load of goodies. The car drives nicely, the ride quality has improved, it now feels really comfortable to be in. Engines, not the most enthusiastic, but they do get the job done, and in fact our pick of both the engines is the petrol, which feels quite nice and strong. But the highlight of this car really is the way that it looks. There's no taking away from the fact that this is one sexy car. It's an eyeball magnet. And when you buy this car, you feel like you're not only buying an affordable sedan, you're buying something extra special.